Good evening, everyone. It is dark 30 outside, and it's been that way for a long minute now. Me and my wife here has already had prayer to bring in the 7th-day Sabbath of Yahweh. Now, I'm just as excited as I can be because I haven't got to do me a video with this lady sitting next to me for a few days now. I've missed this. And so we're excited to bring you the good news of a Savior, of a God that dethroned himself and came down here and died for us. He's the only peace in the world. He said, "Peace I give you, not as the world gives. I give to thee peace that he has." And he has the peace from another dimension, a whole different world entirely. And this being is bright as the sun, John and Daniel said. His feet and his legs burn like polished brass. He has a golden girdle around his waist, and his eyes are like flames of fire, and his voice like the sound of many waters or a great multitude. So we have a mighty Lord that loves us. He died and suffered greatly for us. So we're here to share the good news of that we can live forever because of what he has done for us. He died in our place. He died the death we deserved, and he bore all of our grief, sorrow, hypocrisy, sin, and all. He bore it all, and he took it all and nailed it to the cross. What a mighty Savior we have. He's awesome. And we're tonight now, this is P&T Ministries, or better known as Patsy and Teddy's Bread of Life. And, I'm sorry, Patsy and Teddy's Vespers. This is our Sabbath evening Vespers. This is Friday evening. And what's the date, baby? 17th. So we do this every Friday evening when sundown comes. Me and her grabs our Bibles and we head to the webcam to share evening Vespers with you folks out there. Now, last week, if you didn't get to join us, you can join us right here at Ustream. All the videos are here, and you just look for the Truth or Consequences Part 4, and you will be debriefed or informed. You'll be in-briefed or debriefed or something like that. But you'll be informed about the topic last week, because the topic last week was, will the real Antichrist please stand up? And we were studying Daniel 7 and bringing up things about Revelation 13 and how the old beast of the old world is the same with the little horn power of Daniel chapter 7 and the beast power coming up out of the sea of Revelation 13. And then we promised that we would cover the ground of that lamb-like beast that comes up out of the earth, or a sparse area, virtually unpopulated. And we said we'd discuss more about that, so the title of this week's Truth or Consequences is, "Would the real false prophet please stand up?" And we're going to be reading some here from Ezekiel, and my lovely wife here, Pat, is going to be reading the first several verses. We're going to start with Ezekiel chapter 8, and she's going to read 7 down through 11. Go for us, babe.
"And he brought me to the door of the court, and when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. Then said he unto me, Son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I had digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, Go in, and behold the wicked abomination that they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping thing and abominable beast, and all idols of this house of Israel portrayed me upon me the while round about. And there stood before them 70 men of the ancient of the house of Israel, and in the midst of them stood Jezaniah the son of Zephon, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up."
Okay, we're looking at some people here that are in the temple of Yahweh, the one that's designated for true worship of the Creator, and they're in there offering incense unto idols and other gods. And we're going to find out exactly what those abominations are, and these are synonymous with the abominations in the golden cup in the hand of the fornicating system of worship, the great whore, the great prostitute, the great spiritual prostitute of the earth, the mother church of the harlot churches. We're going to find out exactly what it means when John saw her with a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Let's read on. Verse 12. Then said he unto me, Son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark place? Every man in the chambers of his imaginary, for they say, The Lord seeth us not, the Lord hath forsaken the earth. He said unto me, Turn thee yet again, and I shall show you greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north, and behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz. Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house, and behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of the Lord, and their faces toward the east, and they worshipped the sun toward the east. Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger, and lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury, mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them. Lord, have mercy. What are we seeing here? What is this thing about women sitting on the porch weeping for Tammuz? Who is Tammuz? And what about this worship of the sun? They're in the very temple of Yahweh, and all these images and creeping things drawn on the wall, and this strange incense they're offering to these gods. What in the world are we looking at here? Well, when you trace down, let me start with this. When you trace down the words, or look it up in Britannica, Wikipedia if you want, do the Wikipedia online, any reliable encyclopedia will tell you that Tammuz is associated with the Ashtoreths. The Ashtoreths, if you look that one up, then you're going to find out that they are the goddesses of spring and fertility, and that they are intimately associated with all the rituals of the pagan spring festival of the spring equinox, and that it is all in association with the pagan rituals of antiquity, first established at the Tower of Babel with the building of the Tower of Babel, and Nimrod being deified after his death by his wife Queen Semiramis. Now then, Tammuz is the son of Ashtoreth, according to the legend, the myth, and he is killed by a wild boar. And every spring, in order for the crops to flourish, and for the grass to grow good and rich, and for all the vegetation to come out and benefit mankind, she has to resurrect Tammuz. And in order to do that, she must have mistresses or fellow women to weep with her over Tammuz, so that he will come forth, be resurrected, and help her to overcome evil forces and promote the spring vegetation. Now, here's the punchline. When we look in any reliable historical book or record, Britannica as well, or World Encyclopedia, or a good Bible encyclopedia, or even a secular history book, we find plenty of those. This ritual is associated, handed down through all the kingdoms that prophecy details in the prophecies of Daniel and Revelation. These kingdoms all had these rituals and performed and practiced these pagan cult rituals, worshiped the sun, the moon, and the 12 constellations of the zodiac. And we're seeing here in a spring ritual that is associated with our modern day Easter. And then